those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible.
This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
On tonight's episode, with the Pistons advancing and the Celtics are out, who is the best team in the East? We will also look at this injury to Tarek Skubal and the week that was for the Detroit Tigers, and an update on the NBA and NHL playoffs. All that and more as the Sports Reel podcast begins right now.
If it's in the headlines, on the first page or the last, it's fair game here on the Sports Reel podcast.
And we welcome you to the real reason why Tuesdays were invented. Welcome to the Sports Reel podcast, live on the PFC Entertainment Network. Eric Mendal is on his way to the studio, but we're being joined by two very special guests, and of course, along for the ride as he is each and every week, the heart and soul of the show, if you will, Tim Sheridan. Good to see you, my friend. Cody is with you from Catching Up with Cody. Matt is with us. We're going to be doing some talking about the Stanley Cup playoffs later on in the program. Of course, the NBA playoffs, as that's going to eat up a big chunk of time. But we're going to start with the Detroit Tigers this week. But before we get to all that, Tim, how are you?
Jason, I am doing very, very well. Matt left us. Matt from Lips, Puck, and Chirps. He's gone. He's just an @ symbol now. Oh, no, he's back. He's back.
That's weird. That had like a reaction thing. It was weird.
But no, Jason, I am doing really good. I'm better than I was yesterday. I went on Catching Up with Cody last night, and let me tell you, I was severely tired, and I was rambling a lot, and I caught myself, like, Cody was like, you just went off a different direction. Like, I don't even know where you just, I was like, I don't even know where I'm at. Like, I'm half asleep right now. Like, this week has been crazy, but today I got a little bit of sleep last night. I'm feeling pretty good. Had a lot of fun on Cody's show last night. Glad to have him in the studio today. And then Matt, it's good to see you back, brother. Matt from Lips, Puck, and Chirps. Like, I'm excited to have you back on the show. So, you know, it's another triple threat show.
There you go.
I'm excited about it. Jason, I see you're wearing a hat. Did you forget to shave your head today?
No. I shaved my head. I don't know. I just sometimes this thing, the way my headset feels on my head, if I could be honest with you, I'm low key irritated. Okay. Uh-oh. And I sometimes when I wear this thing, it annoys me even more. Like I start sweating and like I don't know. So I'm just wearing the hat because I'm trying to eliminate as many annoyances as I possibly can, if I can be honest.
Dude, I can get there right there with you because on my way home, because I had to take Chase and go drop him off he had to go play 9 holes over at the country club for practice today. He's got a tournament tomorrow. But I'm like on my way home and I'm like, Amy, what are we going to do for dinner tonight? I was like, because Tuesdays are my night to figure out dinner. And like we were going back and forth and she's like, Burger King. I'm like, I don't want any Burger King. You know what I mean? I worked there in high school and that place is disgusting. Like I could never eat there again. I'll ask that question in a second. But anyway, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to Jimmy John's because they're freaky fast. Well, guess what? They were not freaky fast today. They pissed me off. Some lady came in after I had already ordered and was sitting there waiting my food, ordered 4 sandwiches, and they made her shit first. So yes, I am very irritated too. Like, how you gonna make her food first? Like, why is she going before me? I got to get home. I got Cody showing up to the house. I got a show at 6 o'clock. I am freaking irritated. You know what I mean? So I will not go to Jimmy John's again for at least 3 months. But anyways, you guys ever have that? Did anybody work fast food like high school time or even afterwards?
Pizzeria,
No.
that's it. That's like the closest
Yeah.
thing I could think of. But it was, local pizzeria. That was about it. I made pizza, I bartended, I did everything in that place.
But what I could tell you from working fast food, like, because I did it, I only ever worked at Burger King, but once you work there and you kind of see the grossness of the place, you never want to eat there ever again. You know what I mean? Like, if you have to have, I'm just saying this, anybody who's ever worked at Burger King, and I did this when I was 16, but if you ever have to clean that broiler, you'll never eat there again. That's all I'm saying. Like, that thing, the grease traps in that thing are disgusting.
I don't think you're going to get a Burger King sponsorship at this point.
No.
Hey,
I don't
you
want one,
rule,
damn it.
you know?
Yeah. This is a Taco Bell place. You know, it's the healthiest place because it doesn't
because
stay
that
inside
food
of
is
you.
top tier compared to Burger King. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Well, and it's healthy because it doesn't stay in you. You know what I mean? You eat it, it's coming out like within a half an hour. Like you're good to go. You know, it's not very nutritious, but fuck it. You know, like,
And it helps
whatever.
toilet paper sales too.
Correct. So maybe we can get a toilet paper sponsor. Charmin,
There you go.
if you're
Charmin.
listening,
Ultra
I have a
soft.
great studio right here, and I will put a 6-pack of Charmin right there in the center. Like, let's get this going. Like, it's a good visual. A little bit of toilet paper action. Taco Bell and toilet paper. Match made in heaven.
It can be as soft as your takes, right?
Yeah.
This
Jason, did you ever work
bullshit
fast
segment
food?
Brought to you by Sherman.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh,
Hey.
Eric's got a shitty look on his face. Brought to you by Charmin. But no, that's just a normal face. Eric's got a shitty face. Hold on. Let's look at Eric's shitty face real quick. Oh, fucking loser's not here. Oh,
It looks good.
Aw, yeah, that's the best he's ever looked.
Damn it.
Oh man, he's gonna kill us when he goes back and watches.
He's probably watching right now.
He really,
To be
yeah,
honest.
he is just pissed right off. Can
Yeah.
only imagine. Cody, how's things, man?
Good. I came right from work, so I'm feeling like how Tim was yesterday, tired and everything like that, but excited to be in person as always. Matt, good to see you again, and it's going to be a good episode as it always is.
Yeah, it certainly is. You two are among our favorites that we've had on the show here, so it's great to have you both here. I call these all-star episodes, when we can get a couple of you on here at one time. It really does broaden the panel, and I really do appreciate and respect everybody's points of view and opinions. With that being said, let's go ahead and start this week with the Detroit Tigers. And I understand.
I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for it. Jason, let it go.
That did
to
not
the
take
people
long.
of Wichita, Kansas. Fuck you.
There is a contingent of Detroit Tigers fans that have crucified me, butchered me, and just outright talked the maddest shit because of my personal opinion and stance on this whole thing with Tarek Skubal and the contract extension, the going the back and forth, and what was the right way to handle it. Should it have been done over social media for the whole world to be privy to the inner workings? I have my opinion on it. I said right out of the gate, I went on record and said, this kind of bullshit did not do anybody any favors. It made the organization look like shit. It made Skubal look like a whiny bitch, in my view. Because you're trying to put yourself in the public eye one above the other. Now, contract negotiations, especially when you're talking about a guy like Tarek Skubal, back-to-back Cy Young Award winner, Like that does not happen very often. And I do recognize his talent. I do recognize his accolades, but I also recognize how, and I'm not putting everything on him personally because a lot of this was orchestrated by his agent, who is well known for doing anything and everything to keep his name in people's mouths. You know, he has a lot of high profile clientele, and like that's awesome. But this bullshit has really become a distraction for this team because we have spent a stupid amount of time, and not just our show, but all platforms that cover sports here in the state of Michigan. We have spent a stupid amount of time talking about what's going to happen with Scooble's contract and what he is wanting, or what was reported that he was wanting. We sat here and said that is the dumbest thing that we could do because the guy, in my view, although he is good, I feel like he has captured lightning in a bottle these last handful of years, was able to capitalize on an American league that was struggling to find a head and shoulders above superstar pitcher. Facts. You can look at the stats. Now, I got crucified because fans are like, he's our ace. He's a back-to-back award winner. He's this, he's that. We need to do everything we can to keep him. And I said, after 2 Tommy John surgeries, this is a source of concern. If he wants to stay for 5 years, you want to do a 5-year deal with him, fine. I'm cool with that. But like this dude is wanting 10 years. And I said, absolutely not. And I got told I didn't know what I was talking about. Well, then yesterday fucking happened. And the breaking news coming out that this dude is going to miss 4 to 5 months because he has to have roaming bodies removed from his left elbow. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what I knew was inevitably going to happen. And I sat like, I don't wish anybody any ill harm, ill feeling, or anything like that. Especially Google. But let me tell you what this was. This was karma. This was karma coming around, smacking everybody upside the fucking head with a dose of reality. And this is why we should not, and I don't think it will, sign him to any deal longer than 5 years, if we re-sign him at all. Because this is going to be my question to all of you now. And you can put in your 2 cents if you would like. What does this do for Scooble's value as he's looking to get either a renewal in Detroit or a new deal elsewhere? What does this do to his value?
I'm going to let one of you gentlemen go first, whoever decides, because I'm going to go last on this one.
Yeah, I'll jump in on this. Listen, you heard all the trade talks all off season, right? I mean, as a Met fan, Mets were in the mix on it. You know, Red Sox, a bunch of other teams. It's kind of a rock and a hard place what you're in because now his value's gone. I don't care what you say. You're not getting 10 years after 2 major surgeries like that, being out for that long time. Doesn't matter. He's a back-to-back Cy Young winner. You're not getting 10 years. You're probably not even getting 7. And honestly, you might be lucky to get 5. Now, how old is he? What is he, 30? If I'm not mistaken? 30 years old? Off 2 major surgeries. Now, there's another back-to-back Cy Young Award winner. That's Jacob deGrom. He got 5 years over in Texas. Not apples to apples because I think Jacob deGrom's a better pitcher at that time than Scooble was, but he still got 5 years, and he had a long list of injury history going back with the Mets and whatnot. So what does this leave you? I mean, I think the biggest loser in this whole news has to be the Detroit Tigers because you could have traded him the offseason. You could have got a decent haul for him. You're not going to trade him at the trade deadline because he's hurt. And are you going to really offer him a contract, a guy that's hurt? So now if he walks, now you're looking at getting nothing. So this whole situation, it's obviously bad for Scooble, but the biggest loser in this, in my opinion, is the Detroit Tigers. They're not going to get near the return that they should be getting for a player of that caliber, and they could have sold high in the offseason coming off back-to-back Cy Youngs, somebody would have overpaid. You would have got a top-tier pitching prospect, a top-tier position player, top-tier, maybe a mid-tier prospect too. So you could have got 2 elite prospects, maybe 3, maybe even more. So really kind of mismanagement here. I mean, my opinion, I tend to blame the team more because Detroit's not LA, they're not New York, they're not Chicago, they're not small market, but they're not big market. So when you get a player like this, you gotta try to lock him up. But I also agree, Jason. I wouldn't give him 10 years, but now he's hurt. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Man, it comes down to this, man. Like, again, I don't dismiss his talent, and I don't dismiss what his. I mean, we've seen him do amazing shit, but we just talked here a week or two ago. It is not just what he does on the mound, play by play, pitch by pitch. It's his whole presentation. He's taking himself out because he's had enough or something isn't feeling right. If something isn't feeling right in the 6th inning, this dude is like our ace, and we have expectations. He took himself out of a playoff game last fall that ultimately, if he had stayed in, uh,
Yeah.
probably would have had a different outcome to that game. And I believe it was with the Mariners. But I just, he doesn't strike me as a guy that, number one, truly wants to be here. And that is a counterculture to what Detroit teams, championship teams, have been built on. There's got to be a camaraderie. Right now, I feel like there's the Detroit Tigers, and then there's Tarek Skubal sitting just off to the side a little bit. Like, he's wearing the uniform, but I have always felt like this dude has had one foot out the door because he knows he's good. If he had only had one Tommy John surgery, I wouldn't feel as passionately about this. I would probably shut the fuck up about the whole thing. But we're talking 2. And our elbows are on borrowed time, especially if you are a pitcher of that level. Now, Cody, I just laid a bunch of shit out here, brother. And I know you tune in to the Tigers. You're paying attention to what's going on. Am I off my rocker here? I mean, you can tell me if I am.
No, not at all. I agree with both of what you guys are saying. The other thing, that I kind of want to ask you guys is, do you think Skubal knew like something was going on and he kind of was like, I got to get the money that I can get now in case this does happen and everything like that? I can see that being a possibility, but yeah, no, Tarek Skubal definitely, he screwed over Detroit. He wanted that money and he complained, and that's why I think he put it on social media, is because he wanted to see how many people could get on his side over it. And, we talked a couple weeks ago, that stuff should always be, I feel, behind closed doors. But if somebody wants to make a name for themselves and kind of, this was his, I guess, mission the whole time, was to be in the spotlight and try to make as much money. And now that he's going to be out for 4 or 5 months, yeah, we're not going to be able to trade for him because it's going to be tough coming off an injury, and we're probably going to have to let him walk, and now we got nothing for him. So we should have traded for him before all this happened. I mean, even just get a bunch of young guys and kind of work the farm system again and look toward the future. But I unfortunately don't think Tarek Skubal will be here in the future, and I think that the Detroit Tigers, unfortunately, are going to be the team that gets hurt from all of this happening.
I just got to jump on the social media thing because this goes throughout whole sports where guys complain on social media like that their contract or they're not happy or they unfollow the team. I can't be the only one that bothers. Like, I mean, it's so childish. It's like that girl or guy that's in a relationship, they're unhappy with their relationship, and then they're posting that they're unhappy. Of course, you're going to have, if a girl posts that, of course, you're going to have a bunch of dudes coming in the DMs, oh, honey, you deserve better. The same thing with these sports teams, right? Okay. The Tigers treated you terrible. Oh, Scooble, come over here to the Dodgers. We'll love you. This and that. I mean, I'm just tired of that. Like that. And that's just not a baseball thing. That's all of sports. I mean, a little too prima donna for me. I guess. I'm not a fan of that whatsoever. Sorry, I had to jump in on that because
No,
that
yeah, I 100% agree on that for
just
sure.
annoys
Yeah,
me.
just worry about it behind closed doors. And yeah, I mean, if you're not happy, then talk to the GMs, the owners, all that stuff, get it
There's
handled,
none
and
of that
then
no more. There's none
go
of
from
that.
there.
That's the thing. There's no like handshake agreements. There's no like the second somebody's upset, they turn into a diva and they got to go on the internet. And I mean, the internet it has changed the sports world from a lot of different ways. And I mean, I'm just not a fan of it whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I see that in NBA too. I mean, even I'll
Yeah.
just use Giannis real quick as an example. I mean, he's not happy in Milwaukee. It's like, okay, well, be a part of the decisions and getting the better players and everything. And if you really don't like it, then see what else is out there. But there's also players that have thought the grass is greener, and unfortunately, it's not in every situation.
I could not agree more, Matt, with your assessment of social media and sports. It has really poisoned the water in so many aspects. There's a lot of good that comes with it too. Make no
Great.
mistake about it. No mistake
Absolutely.
about it. However, with a tool like that, you have uh, you're you have the opportunity to put yourself out there in ways that a generation or two before would have never even imagined. Their way of getting attention to the masses was through newspaper, magazine, and the news. And now, I mean, it's instant. I could go on there right now and say, I think Tarek Scooble's the biggest bitch in all of baseball, and immediately people are going to respond to that, react to that. You know what I mean? Um, it has, dude. It's not just sports. It's across every fucking level. Social media. Although it has good, man, it has done a whole hell of a lot of bad too. Um, let's look at what the Tigers did last week in terms of their
Hold
schedule.
on. Hold on. I haven't got to fill in what I wanted to say yet about Mr. Tarek Scooble.
Well, I apologize. Please.
You're skipping right over me, Jason. I've been sitting back here all patiently. So just being quiet and just working the video controls and letting everybody else get their time in. But damn it, I want to talk shit about Tarek Scooble. Actually, Matt
Please.
brought up a really, really good point there that I never even thought of, was the possibility of this hurting the Tigers more than it hurts Scooble. Now, I think this is going to come down to the fact of how long he's actually going to be out, because what they're saying is, 2 to 3 months. I think it's going to be longer. And
do
because
too.
of that, I think Matt is 100% on the mark in saying that there's no chance of trading him this year at the trade deadline. So, which means that he's going to walk for free at the end of this year, and it's going to hurt the Tigers the most. Are we going to get Scooble later in the year, possibly towards, the playoffs, which is beneficial. You know what I mean? If he comes back healthy and he can pitch at his caliber. But we're not going to sign this guy to a 10-year deal that he wants. He's going to go to the Dodgers. He's going to go somewhere. My TV just scared the shit out of me. Like, it just blinked out. I'm like, what the hell just happened? But anyways, yeah, he's going to go to the Dodgers. He's going to go to the Met. He's going to go to one of these large market teams, and he's going to get paid to do it. Now, is somebody going to give him a 10-year contract? No. You know what I mean? It just limited him maybe 5 tops, which I was always okay with the Tigers signing him to a 4 or 5 year deal. Pay him all the money you want. You know what I mean? All the money that he wants, just 4 or 5 years. You don't want to extend him past that. Like, he's already had 2 Tommy Johns. Now he's going in for a 3rd surgery on that elbow. And how much more time does he have? He's, you guys pointed out that he's 30 years old. You only got so much time in the sport, so I think they did just drop the ball. Maybe they should have traded him in the offseason. I'm a fan of Scooble, but not a fan of Scooble as the person. You know what I mean? When he pulled himself out of the game, he did the same shit in the WBC earlier this year, where he decided to not throw. And maybe Cody was onto something when he said maybe he knew that there was something up. You know what I mean? Like, maybe he knew he was having some issues. and he was trying to keep it quiet to try to, get a long-term deal, whether it was with the Tigers or get traded away and get signed to a long-term deal, because he knew something was coming up. But since we didn't trade him, and he was kind of stuck here, we didn't give him that long-term deal. Now he's dealing with this now. Luckily we made a pretty good signing on a pretty damn good left-handed pitcher in the offseason that they gave a bunch of money to. So I'm not super worried. And let's talk about it. I mean, the Tigers, they're rolling right now. I think they have the best home record in the MLB currently. They're 10-2 at home at Comerica. And like, as long as they keep that pace up, the only thing that worries me is, they were doing this last year and then the All-Star break came around and then they kind of shit the bed for the last half of the season, but had won enough to actually get in. And they made a nice little run at it last year, but we want a little bit more this year. You got to go deeper. I'm not saying it's World Series or bust this year, but you need to go deeper in those playoffs. You know what I mean? At least maybe make it to the World Series this year, and I would be extremely happy. I just don't think Tarek Skubal is in the future of the Detroit Tigers and beyond this year. And I think Matt was 100% right that I think this whole thing hurt the Tigers more than it hurt Skubal.
Yeah, I think you gotta also look at the term ace. Any like when you look at a pitcher, your ace pitcher. I grew up on late '90s, early 2000s, where you had like Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, like those guys who just you knew 80% of the time they're going 7 innings plus. And I mean, I know baseball's different now. They don't have those eaters and whatnot. But if you got a pitcher that isn't consistently at least 85% of the time going 6 innings, as great as they are, they can't be considered an ace in my opinion. Because I mean, you an ace is a guy you rely on to just help your bullpen not be able to be overworked and whatnot like that. That's just another one of my pet peeves is like I feel like an ace there's like nobody pitches complete games anymore, so maybe there's very few aces in the league nowadays. But you know, I just don't like that term being thrown out there all the time. Just because you're the best player, best pitcher on a team doesn't necessarily mean you're an ace. You know.
No, I'm 100%.
I love this
right
guy.
there.
I really love this guy. It's like seriously, he's echoing my sentiments exactly. Could not agree more. Could not.
I mean, I think that was the best era of baseball. That where you had. I mean, the steroid era was great. I mean, in my opinion, I know everyone's controversial about that, but I thought that was some of the best pitching and some of the best hitting you ever saw. You don't see numbers like that at the All-Star break, where guys are hitting 330, 350. How many 300 hitters are there? And same thing with the pitchers. There's not too many pitchers that are sub 200 ERA too. I mean, you saw Randy Johnson. I mean, that was one of my favorite pitchers of all time. Pedro, like I said, those guys, all fun to watch. But those were real aces. Those were guys like you put Randy Johnson on the mound. If he didn't pitch 7 innings, you'd be like, wow. But if you're the opposing team, you're like, wow, we got off easy. That's how an ace should be. But the game is different now.
Yeah, 100%. You rattled off some of those names, and I think to myself, damn, what an era, what a generation that was. And then
Even Verlander, I forgot Verlander. Obviously Detroit. I mean, he's still going. Or is he still going? You're tired this year. Is he still playing this year, right?
yeah, he's with
He's still playing this year, right? Yeah. And Scherzer, they're still kicking.
yeah, for sure. Eric, good to see you. First of all,
Good to see you too, sir.
you have an opinion on what's happening here with the Tigers with Skubal's injury?
A lot of people probably ain't gonna like my opinion, but you should have traded him for the season. You knew what he wanted. You knew he was already coming off 2 surgeries. Well, not coming off 2 surgeries, but had 2 surgeries. And with how he pitches and pulling himself out of a playoff game, yeah, it doesn't show me he wants to be here, in my opinion. He's more worried about the money. You're going to get your money now, just like I've said it multiple times on this podcast. You should have traded him and got some more talent and built for more towards the future. Granted, yeah, it would have been great to have him and the guy we traded for full swing all year long. But here we are. You were right, Jason. A lot of the haters were wrong, and you shouldn't have. It was just a good thing you didn't try to give him that contract or even match it. You should have traded him, because now with that coming up, there's always that talk of the lockout next year because they want to put a salary cap on. So yeah, more than likely he's going to walk and we're going to get nothing for him. So you hurt the organization more by not getting rid of him, thinking, okay, well, we might have a shot this year if we make some decent, off-season moves. And you did, but now it's backfiring.
Yeah, I keep going back to the whole. I wonder if he knew something was up during even last fall during the playoffs. Like something was starting to not feel right, and then
That could
we
be very
saw,
true.
he was involved in the WBC. Who knows what kind of further damage was done to it? Because I mean, yeah, he's done fairly well so far this season, but he's not the Tarek Skubal that won back-to-back Cy Young awards. And you start to wonder, damn, did he try to keep this under his cap to get a better deal elsewhere, knowing that the Tigers. Now, see, here's the other thing. What did the Tigers know? Because he has to go through a physical. They have to check him out. There's got to be something that, I mean, it doesn't have to be, but I just got to believe that there's more to this than what is actually being brought to the surface. And if that is the case, that is why I say unapologetically that Tarek Skubal is a bitch. And it's wrong. 100% wrong across the board for the Tigers, for him, because he's not doing himself any favors. And look where we're at now. Look at the conversation we're having right now. Just stupid, in my view. But let's go ahead and take a look at last week's results real quick and what's coming up ahead here this week. They did run into a little bit of trouble with the league leading Atlanta Braves, dropping 2 of the 3. They did take the finale on Thursday. Texas came into town and well, I was worried about the Rangers, but especially with a 5-4 win on Friday. But the Tigers came back Saturday 5-1 win over the Rangers, and then Sunday 7-1. Yesterday was starting a set with the Boston Red Sox, dropping that one 5-4. They are currently playing right now in Game 2 of that set, and then they will be. Damn it. I tried to make that transition so smooth and it wouldn't let me. So sorry. They so here today, and then tomorrow they wrap it up. They have an off day on Thursday, and then a weekend series with the Kansas City Royals. They have Monday off, and then start a set with the New York Mets next Tuesday. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm going to be keeping an eye, especially with this weekend set with the Royals. The Tigers right now, as we stand, are tied for first place with the Guardians. And yes, Tim, you were correct. They do have the best home record in the American League right now. So nothing to shake a stick at. So the Tigers have their hands full here, obviously, with Boston. The Kansas City Royals are showing signs of life right now. And the New York Mets, people seem to have a pretty strong opinion one way or the other of the Mets. Matt, you mentioned you're a Mets fan.
Yeah. I'm not proud of it, though.
It seems to be the sentiment right now because our good friend Vinny is also a diehard Mets fan, and he has said the same thing. This series with the Tigers, does this worry you?
As a Met fan, or are you Tigers' perception? Because if the Tigers don't win 2 out of 3, that's bad. Because the Mets are an absolute train wreck right now, an absolute disaster. They got a new owner. Steve Cohen bought the team a couple of years ago. Previous owners were cheap. They're the Wilpons. All the Met fans joked calling them the coupons because they were always they just didn't spend money, or they spent money foolishly. And they basically took the core of the Mets team, everything that was good about the Mets last season, which was their lineup. They took Nimmo out. They took Alonso out. They took, they took McNeil, although McNeil could have been traded, but that wasn't as big of a piece. But they changed the team around. Their bullpen was disastrous. They like Diaz didn't resign, so the Mets are just a dumpster fire right now. If you don't take 2 out of 3 in that series, is that in City Field or is that in Detroit?
I believe it's in Detroit.
Is in Detroit. Yeah, if you don't take 2 out of 3, that's a bet. I mean, realistically, if you want to be a playoff team, you gotta get the brooms out and sweep that series, because the Mets are just that much of a dumpster fire. They got injuries left and right. They can't pitch. They can't hit. They've had a little bit better, but they had a long losing streak. So I mean, as a Met fan, I'm telling you, it's ugly in New York. I mean, the only reason that the Phillies are just as bad as the Mets, but the Mets and the Phillies have been god awful at the bottom of the NL East. But yeah, no, you got to take 2 out of 3, especially at home. Really should sweep. If you lose 2 out of 3 in that series, that's really bad. They should go 4-2 in this break. I would say the 6-game stretch between the Royals and the Mets should go 4-2. That's what I would say.
I agree with that. Absolutely. Gentlemen, Tim, Eric, or Cody, do you guys have a thought or opinion of the Tigers and their schedule this week?
Me? They just need to win. They just need to win. I just want to stay positive. Like that's all I want to do is just stay positive. Scott had opinions at 2-3 versus the Red Sox on the year is kind of embarrassing, all things considered. Might want to win today. I mean, that's a good point. But yeah, they just need to keep winning. I mean, they're on a roll right now. We'll see how the Skubal injury affects them. Verlander's still not back. So, you got 2 of your starting pitchers for the year that are out, injured right now, and you need to keep rolling. The bats need to come alive. They've slowly been coming alive, but that's the one thing in the offseason, besides McConaughey, coming up and doing really well that they didn't really address, which was a major issue last season. So, we'll have to see what they do now with these injuries and how they keep going, but you just got to keep winning right now. You got to stay in the fight right now. And currently they're doing that. I mean, you're number one they're tied for one in their division with the Guardians, the damn Guardians, or the Indians, I'll call them. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up, they were the Indians. They're still the Indians to me, but yeah, you got to do that. Anybody else have any opinions?
Yeah, I mean, I think, with Torkelson, starting the year off not doing very well, I think he's finally getting his bat ready and he's helping the team. McGonigal, obviously, a guy out of nowhere helping the team. So, yeah, if we can get the bats to hit and we can, we got to do everything we can offensively with the 2 star pitchers out right now. So, I like how they're playing so far, but All-Star break last year is where after that it fell apart. So hopefully we can keep this going through the whole year and like Tim said earlier, possibly get to the World Series, because it would be nice to finally see that in Detroit.
100%.
You got to figure it out. And I'd rather them figure it out the beginning of the season than have it, going right like last year, and then the All-Star break happens and you just start shitting the bed and you barely make the playoffs. You were the number one team in baseball for how long, and then you All-Star break comes and all that, and then you take some time off and blah 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 blah, and now you're just you can't get it rolling again. So I'd rather you deal with those problems now, and then start rolling at the end of the season and get that momentum, because momentum's everything. If you can get that going leading into the playoffs, and you can win a series and go into the next one with momentum, that's everything. So figure it out now, and then be ready at the end of the year. That's what I want.
Very well said, and I totally agree. That we'll go ahead and put a pin in MLB talk right now, and we'll make the transition here. But before we do, I want to send a quick shout out to longtime friend of the show, Dave. Underwent a medical procedure this week, and I'm told he's home and resting. So we just wanted to send our best wishes and thoughts to our friend Dave. Just not the same in the chats without him, Tim.
No, it hasn't been the same. Old Vic Vanity needs to make his return to the chats as soon as he's feeling better. You know, if it's not Vic Vanity, then we need Fatty McFatterson. Still my favorite gimmick I've ever seen. Like, you guys have no idea. So back in our wrestling days, Dave got into wrestling, but he didn't really wrestle a lot. But he had this gimmick where he was Fatty McFatterson, where he would get introduced to come out to the ring, and he would run out of breath and just fall over halfway out to the ring every time. He never actually wrestled. He just kind of just like passed out halfway through. You know, it was the greatest gimmick ever. It was funny. He'd come out, you know, all like hooray, get halfway down and then just fall over in exhaustion. But yeah, it was the greatest thing ever. But Dave, get well, brother. Like, we're thinking of you.
All right, let's switch gears here and focus on the National Basketball Association. Real quick, by hook or by crook, the Detroit Pistons, albeit took 7 games, eliminated the Orlando Magic in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Very nerve-wracking situation. Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, all must-win games, and they did just that. Wednesday, 116 to 109 over the Magic. Friday, 93 to 79, and then Sunday, 116 to 94. And now this sets up round 2 with the Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll talk about them in just one moment. But listen, I was out of town on Sunday, and I just happened to I was able to walk in front of a TV that had the game on somewhere in the fourth quarter, and the Magic had a considerable lead with not all that much time left. And I turned, like, I was just deflated, you know. That's the only basketball I was able to watch over the weekend, and I'm like, God damn it, it's not going to happen. And how am I going to go? You know, how am I going to address this on the show? I told my girl, I'm like, well, babe, looks like it's over. Looks like the Pistons are done. Orlando's got this huge lead, blah blah blah. So to my surprise, later on in the night when I went to go see what the final score was, like, I thought it was a misprint. I'm like, what the fuck? they they came back. They came back from a big hole, wound up winning the game, winning the series, and now it sets up a showdown with Cleveland. Cody, were you surprised? I mean, where were you at with Game 7 here? Did you think at some point it was over?
Oh yeah, it was a roller coaster of emotions. I even talked on my episode yesterday with Tim that, like, we definitely didn't deserve to win that game, but wow. I mean, we need this momentum as far as, like, the winning streak to fall now into the second round against Cleveland. If we play how we did in the first, couple games against Orlando, if we play that way against Cleveland, we're not going to be able to come back from 3-1 twice. So, Cade's doing what he needs to do. Jalen Duren obviously needs to still prove that he deserves that max contract. But yeah, this first round was a roller coaster of emotions for sure. I mean, there was times that I turned it off at halftime, like, they're not coming back, and then they did it somehow. So
you guys are talking about Game 6, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jason said Game 7.
You're right.
And I was like, Game 7, they dominated the whole time. Game 6 is when
that's what I thought too. But
Game 6 is when they were down 22 at half.
Apologies.
Got
Yes.
down 24 total and came back. And the Magic only scored 8 points in the fourth quarter. They completely shut them down. And the only thing about Game 7 that I want to take out of it, Duren showed the fuck up. Duren needs to show up this series because he can do it. He's dominated against the Cavs all year. That's what needs to happen. If he shows up like he did in Game 7, I think they get it done in Game 5 this series. But yeah, Game 6, I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, okay, down 22 at half and down 24, and then they just turned on the defense, and Cade did what Cade does for us, and he pulled it out. It wasn't pretty, but it was a win.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting you.
No, you're good. But yeah, no, I mean, Eric's definitely right. I mean, we need to not play from behind, because that's not going to happen against Cleveland. So But yeah, I mean, Cade did what he needed to do. He averaged, I mean, I think it was like 32 points a game almost. So yeah, Duran just needs to kind of do what he did in Game 7 for this next series. And, you know, with Boston being out, I think it's going to be a little bit easier of a path for us to the finals. But I don't want to jinx too much because the way we looked against Orlando, we could do it all over again next round.
That is true.
That's the one thing about it is we sat here and almost like our fanfare got all ramped up, and it was a foregone conclusion that it would, the way the brackets were set up, you know, we were going to wind up facing Boston in this, you know, fuck everybody else. But obviously Orlando had other plans. You know, and we said before the playoffs even started, and we started to see the positioning. Like, man, Orlando is a dangerous team. Be damned the 8th seed spot. They are a dangerous team. And I don't know what the shit happened here, you know, during the first part of the series where, I mean, Orlando just had Detroit's number. Like, and you go down 3 games to, or you go ahead 3 games to 1, and it's like, you know, historically speaking, that's a death nail. It doesn't happen very often to be able to come back, but it has happened with this Pistons team. Now,
I think they are the 15th team to come back from them being down 3-1 and win the series in NBA history.
Just crazy, man. Matt, were you watching this series? What's your takeaway?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think, you know, from an outside perspective, Detroit got a little bit lucky, but they're a little bit good. And sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. You know, you look at Game 6, that's the big one. Orlando just missed a lot of shots. Yes, Detroit played good defense, but there was a stretch from Game 6 going into Game 7 where Paolo Banchero was the only Orlando Magic to get a field goal from, like, I think it was the first minute of the third quarter all the way through the fourth quarter into the first quarter of Game 7. So there was like a half a game stretch where no other Orlando Magic had a field goal, which is absurd. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the Magic played like an 8th seed. They kind of choked under the pressure, but Detroit found a way. And now you go to round 2. You play a Cleveland team that, yes, is more talented, but Mitchell has historically choked in the second round. James Harden has historically choked in the second round. Now, that doesn't mean that they'll do it again, but it's going to be interesting to say. By no means is it a pushover. 5 games, Eric, that is wild, especially as much Orlando gave you fits going to 7. 5 games is insane to think that Detroit would win in 5 games. I think it's going 6 or 7. It's really a coin flip series. I would probably lean Detroit over Cleveland, to be honest, because I just think Harden and Mitchell are more, they've had a history of choking, but by no means is a cakewalk. 5 games is crazy to me. I don't see that.
Okay, so when the Pistons played the Cavs this season, they went 2-2. We were not 100% when we played them. Duran always played the Cavs good. So if Duran can show up like he did in Game 7, I have a lot of confidence in it. If Cade shows up like he has, I have a lot of confidence in it. And honestly, in Game 7, the whole team rallied. Everyone was scoring. Who scored 30 in Game 7? I can't remember his name. It wasn't Cade. Harris.
Yep.
Harris scored 30 in Game 7. If they all can show up, I have a lot of confidence they can do it. James Harden gave 5 turnovers in each game in the first series. And the Cavs choke in the second round, like always. They have last year. They're probably going to this year. I think Detroit's going to have their number. I think they can pull 2 at home. I think they can win these 2 and steal 1 from Cleveland. I think Game 5 they're going to end it. If Duran can show up like he did in Game 7, plays the Cavs good, and you got Cunningham doing his thing and all that, I think it can happen. And you just got to keep, Isaiah or Thomas, his head straight and not get too, emotional, and he'll play fine. He's a hell of a defender. I think that's what could happen.
Regular
I
season
think 5.
can't base
I know it could go to Game 7. I can see it, but you can't. You can't.
I mean,
no, but if Duran
Detroit
can play like he did and he plays the Cavs well, I think that
Detroit owned the Knicks in the regular season. Detroit owned the Knicks, like beat them to a bloody pulp.
Yep.
But the Knicks playing right now,
Yeah, and
the way the
playing
Knicks are
very
playing
well
right now, do
They're
you
playing
think
very well.
they're playing extremely well? Now, I'm a Knicks fan. There's obviously some bias in there. Um, I mean, they just curb
I
stomped
can see that.
Philadelphia.
I can see that being the Eastern Conference.
Absolutely. I think
They
that
did.
will be the Eastern Conference, Detroit and New York. And I said that actually a couple of weeks back when you guys asked me what my finals prediction. I think I said Detroit and New York are going to play in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think the playoffs are a little different of a game than the regular season. And the way they're playing, the way I'm obviously rooting for New York, but I take New York over Detroit, just even from that series last year. But listen, I think the East is very wide open for all these teams right now. All these teams could easily win the East. Now, I think Philadelphia, I trust the least, even though everyone's kind of glazing them over Boston because Boston didn't have a big. So everyone's shocked that Boston got eliminated. Boston
I
traded
was
away
not.
Drew Holiday. That's their best wing defender. You know, they don't have a big down there. They didn't have Porzingis or Horford like they did last year and the championship year. So, you know, I mean, and if Embiid is any kind of healthy, you're just going to destroy them. You know, now, you know, Embiid's basically on one leg. The Knicks have a little more size. That's why I like the Knicks in that series. But yeah, I mean, listen, I think the East is wide open. If you had to put a gun to my head right now, I'd take the Knicks, not just because I'm a Knicks fan, but just in the last 4 games,
Liar.
they've outscored their opponents 135 points in 4 games.
They
Their
have.
average
They
margin
have.
of
Yeah.
victory is 40 or 38 in the last 4 games. Come on.
Yeah. Well,
Come on.
that's very true. But like you said, you can't count the regular season. But it will
No, you
be
can't.
interesting it'll be interesting when the Pistons and Knicks play each other because the Pistons have owned the Knicks
If
regular season.
there's still a lot.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I don't know.
It's going to happen.
I mean,
And it's JB's old team that they're playing against. So I'm hoping that kind of gives a little bit of like a, hey, this is what you guys, you got rid of me. So this is what you lost. And hopefully that gives them a little bit of momentum too. But yeah.
Wasn't JB in Cleveland?
Yeah, that's who they're playing
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I
along
thought you
those
meant like he
lines,
was for the
Cody,
Knicks.
Gotcha.
I gotcha.
along those lines, Cody, it was just announced that they extended his contract as the head coach of the team. Are you okay
Well,
with that? Just based on the fact
And then they
that
fired. Then
And
they fired
that was-
Orlando's coach.
Yep,
Orlando
I'm glad.
fired-
Yes,
fired
I'm
him.
glad you guys brought that up because, yeah, I don't think we should have extended JB just yet, because, I mean, I feel like he's more of a regular season coach. Well, he's shown that he's more of a regular
He
season
turned it
coach.
around. He's got to turn it around his record, and he's doing it in Detroit right now. So
Yeah.
if he can, say he does win this series in 5 and stomps Cleveland because he's like, hey, you let me go. This is what I could do. That boosts his record right there. You're only gonna lose 1 to 3.
That's true. That's true.
what
I
has Detroit done in 15 years? Like the last 15 years?
Hey,
Like-
we're not talking about 15 years.
But I'm
We're
just
talking about right
saying,
now.
like you
Stop
extend
it.
him,
Stop
you
it.
know.
Stop
He's.
it.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to be, you know.
You're not wrong, but
I
we're
mean-
talking about right now.
Well, no, I think he's making a
I mean,
point.
like, listen. The Knicks.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Trust me. It's the last 15 to
And this is coming from a Knicks fan, so there's a lot of.
I know.
There's a lot
not
of
been
bad.
good. It's not been good.
Yeah, no, but I mean, listen. The Knicks had their most successful season last year, making the Eastern Conference Finals. They fired Tibbs. You know, so the NBA is weird. The NBA is very weird like that. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's like, hey, if you get to the second round, that's great, and for some teams, it's not good enough, and they fire you. I mean, the Knicks had lost in the second round 2 straight years. They finally make the Eastern Conference Finals, and then you fire a coach. You know, Orlando. I don't think anyone really thought Orlando would take Detroit to 7, and I think they fired the coach because he blew a 3-1 lead. You know, so I mean, it's very weird. Very weird league.
He still went toe to toe with number 1.
Orlando was a very good team in the regular season, and
Very good.
injuries towards the injuries kind of hurt them in the end. So they started getting players back. That they were, if anything, they were not a true 8 seed. They should have been like, I think, a 6 or a 5. So I think that's why it was more of a tougher series. And
I don't know.
it showed.
I mean,
It definitely should. Well, it showed. It went to Game 7. It really did. It literally went to Game 7, and Detroit had to win 3 in a row, and they did. They proved that they were the better
every
team.
every team in the East
Orlando is a
went
good team.
6 or 7 games. 3 out of the 4 series went to 7 games. So I mean,
That is true.
the East is
So-
very
so-
competitive, and then the Knicks finished in 6. Now the Knicks lost 2 games by 1 point each. But
That is true.
I mean, all these series were long. There were no cupcake series.
All right, I gotta
Yeah, Tim.
hold on. I gotta throw in my 2 cents here because I've been sitting.
No
back
one
and
cares
being-
about your 2 cents.
Oh, you better shut the fuck up.
You don't make that. I got a
just
bone to
shut
pick
up.
though, real quick though. Fucking Jason saying the heart and soul of this show is Tim Sheridan.
Yeah.
Fuck you, by the way.
It is.
There's more than just him. Fuck you.
First things first, I got to bring up, Scott, you did make a big point there with
You're a big point.
with that series right there. They got a gift when Wagner went out.
They did.
So they definitely got a gift there. Signing JB to that extension, I think it was a tad bit too early, but I do understand it because, as Matt said, what have the Pistons done in the last 15 years? He's completely turned around this team since he's gotten here to get to the point that they are. You know what I mean? So you kind of got to give or take. I mean, just 2 years ago, they were the worst team in the NBA, and now all of a sudden, they're in the second round of the playoffs. So we should be pretty happy about that. So maybe sign him to an extension. On top of that, I want to go back and I want to touch on Game 6 because I had the same sentiment. I was watching this thing, and at about halftime, I turned it off because I said, they're down by 22. This game is over. And then I, happened to check my phone, and it was just about being the end of the third quarter. And I'm like, holy shit. Actually, Cody texted me and was like, the game's close now. And I went, what the hell? And then I'm going up winning this thing by 14 and then coming back and dominating in Game 7, with Wagner out. I get that, Scott, 100%. You know what I mean? They did get a gift there, but they did end up dominating
Matt go? Where'd the
in
fuck
that
he go?
game. He's the @ symbol. It's at Matt. But they dominated that game. And the only thing I can say, does Cleveland worry me heading into this series? Yes, Cleveland worries me. I don't think we went 2-2. Did we go? I think we went 1-3 against Cleveland.
No, I
this
went
year.
2-2.
Okay, it might have been 2-2, but either way.
And just so you know, I put $5 on the spread for the Pistons tonight.
Oh, okay.
So that's for you, Matt.
Hey, listen,
but
hope you win.
I appreciate it.
So-
Continue. Sorry, Tim.
the Cleveland worries me a little bit in this series. I don't think this is going to be a 5-game series. I'm with Matt on this. I think this could go 6 or 7. I still have the Pistons coming out of this thing, but it's going to be a lot tougher than what people are thinking. I think right now, I'm just looking it up. The matchup predictor has got Detroit at 71% tonight, and that might be a little bit to do with the fact that they're coming off a hot series. They got some momentum, and they're at home. So, they could pull out a win in Game 1, but if they don't win Game 1, if they drop one right now, it's going to be a hard climb back out of this, even though they just did it against Orlando. But Cleveland's a different team. So you need to come out hot and you need to win Game 1. You have to take that. I mean, the trading for Harden at the trade deadline there was huge for Cleveland. Yeah, Scott corrected me. It was 2-2 versus Cleveland, but you need to do better than that.
I told it multiple. I said it multiple times.
Yeah, but I don't ever believe what you say because
Yeah, 'cause you're a bitch.
You got stupid hair. Take that hat off. Show your stupid hair. Like
You're
I don't want to hear your shit. Shut up.
the haircuts you get
shut
as a
up.
grown ass man. You're gonna say my hair's stupid? Shut the fuck up.
What the fuck are you talking about? What's wrong with my haircut, bitch?
Yeah, everything. You fucking the sides. Oh, the fucking fade the sides. Let me have hair on the top of my head.
I
You look
have to
like-
have hair on the top to hide the thinningness. You know what I mean? I'm old.
Be a man,
I'm
go
thinning.
bald.
No, I'm
Be a
not
man,
going
shave
bald.
it.
I haven't.
Pussy,
I
pussy,
am
pussy,
not at the point in
pussy,
my life where
pussy.
I can accept
Yeah, you
looking
are.
like Jason just quite yet.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jason.
I didn't say it.
Just a
I didn't say it.
shade, brother.
Catching strays.
There's only
Hey,
room for
he's
one
real.
bald man on this show. You tried to steal it.
Motherfucker, I'm bald on there.
On there, but you grew
Fuck
it
up.
back. There's only one room for one, and that's why you have hair
Well, we're
again.
gonna go 3.
We've hit our
three bald
quota.
men.
We've hit our quota with one. Okay.
I'm fucking done with you.
It's bad enough we all have fucking beards, even though Jason's is white because he's old. Wow. Sorry, Jason, you're catching
You have
straight as
all
I can.
white in your fucking beard too.
No,
Shut up.
mine's gray. I'm salt and pepper. Jason
You don't
is just—he's lost all color.
This is why we don't let you talk, I guess. I mean, just throwing strays at everybody here.
Sorry.
No reason.
Anyway, so yeah, the Cleveland series worries me. Also, if we get by this, I think you're 100% correct. New York, even though we've owned them in the regular season, New York also worries me. And I got to give, Zach called this out early on in the season where he was saying it was going to come down to New York and the Pistons. And he was trying to put a bet with us, early on in the season that New York was going to win this.
Oakland's gonna knock out Detroit, so fuck that guy.
2 years in a row, we could.
I got Eric all riled up.
Tim,
yeah.
I needed you like this yesterday on the show, man.
Dude, I was fucking sleeping yesterday halfway on the show. I go on his show yesterday. I am so fucking tired. So tired. I'm rambling on the show. He had to call me on the show. He's like, I don't know where you just took that, but that wasn't even what I was like, I am sorry, man. I just went off in a totally different tangent. I don't even know where I'm at. But yeah. So yes, New York, where is it? If we get by Cleveland, I don't want to look by Cleveland right now because Cleveland is going to be a tough series. And I think you're right. I think New York's going to walk the 76ers right now. I don't think they need more than just Embiid on that team. I obviously know that they have more, but you can't build that team around him. I think New York's going to walk that series, and New York is a different team. You're right, Matt. There is a difference between regular season and postseason. Regular season, I think everybody's just trying to get by to make it to the postseason. You see a lot of people sitting. You see a lot of people not playing. I don't think they play as hard because if you look at the difference between regular season basketball and postseason basketball, the physicality of postseason basketball is so much more intense than regular season basketball. So everybody's playing harder because you want to make a run at that championship. So the New York team, if we face them in the Eastern Conference Finals, is not going to be the same team that we played in the regular season. And it's going to be tough. But then again, I can say the same thing for Detroit. New York's not going to play the same team that they did in Detroit. And the momentum is a hell of a thing. Momentum really is a hell of a thing. So if Detroit can keep this momentum up, and keep rolling, because a lot of these things come down to, it doesn't matter what sport it is, it comes down to who is hot right now. Literally, who is playing their asses off right now, who is hot right now, can carry a series, can get through this thing, and as long as you don't slump, you can make it all the way to the end. Now, who's that going to be? In the end, is it going to be New York? Is it going to be the Pistons? Is it going to be Cleveland? Is 76ers going to get hot and turn this thing around and beat New York? Who the hell knows? I doubt that, you know what I mean? Because New York just dominated them last night.
Doesn't mean anything, though. I mean,
yeah.
In some ways, it's better to lose by 40 than to lose by 1. When literally the Knicks, the 2 playoff games that they lost by 1. And both the games, every Knicks fan was like, what the fuck? Like, we should have won that game because they made a litany of errors in just even the final 2 minutes. So, I don't think just because you blew Philly out by 40 points, that series is over. But listen, guys, I actually do got to run. I got the little ones. I got to put them to bed. Sorry to cut out early a little bit, guys, but I gotta go with my little kids right now. So appreciate you guys having me on, and I'll see you guys soon. Okay.
Thank you so much, man.
Thanks for coming on, man. I'll get back a hold of you and we'll get you back on.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
Do you want to plug anything before you jump off real quick?
No, guys, just I'm on TikTok, YouTube at Lips94. And listen, if Detroit and New York make the Eastern Conference Finals, we're absolutely doing a bet. And I want to see the whole studio in New York Knicks gear if the Knicks win. But I'll wear Pistons gear for a whole week on every one of my TikToks. What do you say?
I might be down for that.
If that
You can
happens,
make that work.
Yeah, I could. Yeah,
we'll
make
you
that. Yeah.
got to do a show. Every single person on the show's got to wear Knicks gear for an episode. And then I will on my TikTok every single I will wear a Detroit Pistons jersey.
All right, I'm down. Eric said he's down.
Yeah, sure.
Jason,
Cool.
you down?
I'm going to be sick that week.
You don't have confidence in your team?
No, I do. No, not yeah.
All right, fellas, I
All
appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, brother.
Talk to you,
See you,
man.
Matt.
All right, later. Back on my thing real quick, because I have another question for you guys as we're still on the NBA here. LeBron James. Do we see a possibility of the Lakers making a run at this shit now? Because LeBron just carried him through that last series. They got Reeves back now, and as me and Cody were discussing on his show last night, it looks like Luka might be making his return here pretty shortly.
Sure, you know what you were talking about last night? You said you were tired.
Dude, I remember that portion of it. I'm not going to talk into tangents now like I did last night, but it looks like Luka might be making a return pretty soon. So they're going to get back healthy, and I think at the right time. Are we looking at a possible, Western Conference let out by the Lakers, who we didn't think was going to do shit this year? Anybody have any takes on that?
I don't think so. I think OKC is going to handle business with them. They're just too young of a team, the Thunder are, and I think that they can take care of business with LA. LeBron's playing obviously like, younger LeBron, but I don't think so. I think LeBron's time being in the finals is over.
No, I can. Go ahead,
If
Jason.
it was any other team other than Oklahoma City, I would put more stock in the Lakers making a deeper run in the playoffs. But like Cody was just saying, because it is the Thunder, and look, LeBron's doing LeBron things great. Love that for him. I just don't think, I just don't think he is going to be enough to get the Lakers past Oklahoma City to reach the Western Conference Finals, in my view.
Eric.
If they're going to get Luca back, I can see him going to the finals. If LeBron can hold them to get Luca back, and they just got, who'd you say they got back?
They got Reeves back.
They got Reeves back. I don't know. The way LeBron's playing and all that, and I could see it. I could see them beating OKC. You know, it's going to come to an end eventually, and if LeBron's getting up there and wants to call it quits soon or something like that, I don't know. I could see him taking them there and then getting Luca back, and and a side note here is the Timberwolves beat the Spurs in game 1. And that's huge to go to the Spurs and get game 1. So is Edwards going to carry them to the Western Conference Finals? I'm sitting here thinking we might have a Timberwolves Lakers Western Conference. We might have a Pistons in New York Eastern Conference. And I would love to see that, because those are 4 teams that have not been in the finals in a long time. So
Man,
if LeBron can keep it going and get Luca back, I could see 100% the Lakers making the finals.
How crazy would it be to see a Minnesota Lakers Western Conference Finals when you consider just the names and the history and the lineage unto itself, because the Lakers came from Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So to have Minnesota's new team in there to face one of the long-standing guards of the Western Conference in that franchise, storyline-wise, that's fucking epic, Mm-hmm. Let's take a look real quick at how this round of the NBA playoffs is shaping up here, because I do want to go down the schedule for the Pistons and Cavaliers playoffs here. Obviously, here tonight they're going to be on Peacock. Game 2 on
again.
Yeah, game 2 on Thursday.
The whole series.
It's on NBC.
Oh my God, it's on NBC.
Yeah, it's
Thank
NBC
God,
Peacock.
fucking
Except for game 2. Game 2 is on Prime.
Thankful, because that's the only time I can watch. I was so pissed off Game 7 I couldn't watch it because it was on ABC. And
I couldn't watch the last 3 games. It wasn't on cable.
It should be on NBC.
No.
The other 2 games. Well, no, they were on Prime and then ABC.
Yeah,
You're right.
Fucking pissed me off. I was beyond pissed off. I couldn't even watch the game.
Well, aside from game 2, Eric, this will be on NBC's linear channels on your cable outlets or your local stations. Also, it will be streamed on Peacock. The exception is game 2, as I said, that will be on Prime Video. Games 5, 6, and 7, if necessary, will be determined as to who will get the broadcast rights, presumably it will be NBC that gets the broadcast rights. And in the Western Conference side of things, are the 76ers and the Knicks are the other side of the Eastern Conference, as we have documented. In the Western Conference, San Antonio and Minnesota, and then Lakers and Oklahoma City Thunder. I'll be straight up. I'm surprised there's no Denver Nuggets at this point.
Eric.
Shut up, bitch.
The fact that Minnesota is where they are right now, this makes them, in my view, the Cinderella team for the Western Conference. Like, nobody really thought they would be at this point, but here they are, especially matched up against the Nuggets. But are the 2 main powerhouses, obviously, Oklahoma City and San Antonio, still very, very much alive in this. So just have to wait and see how all this shapes up. Anything else NBA wise?
On a programming note, the game is tied 5-5 right now. 7-5. Cleveland's up.
It is.
So I'm sitting here watching.
It's over.
Yeah, it's over. Damn it. They're going home. Shit. Oh no, they are home, so they might as well just stay home.
Yeah.
But no, I think that covers the NBA. I mean, I think the Pistons are still on track right here. I think the West is still, I mean, my pick is still in it, and that's San Antonio because Wemby's an alien. But
Well, they're down 1-0 right now against the Timberwolves. That shouldn't be there. I thought Denver was going to win that, and honestly, but the way Edwards is playing, he's playing like a man possessed, and he might get them to the Western Conference Finals. I could see it because he's been getting. That dude's a freak. That dude's about as much as alien as Wemby is.
Yeah, and coming like back off that hyperextended knee. I mean, they said that
Yeah,
was
I've
usually a
seen
couple
that.
week thing, and he turned it around. I think in 9 days.
Not even. He played the next game.
Yeah. So
He played the next fucking game with a hyperextended knee. So if that's not saying anything, how tough that dude is and how determined he is to get his team further in the playoffs, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
But Minnesota needs to get him some motherfucking help.
Yes.
If they really want a fucking chance, unless he's going to carry them to the finals and win it. But if it were to come down to Minnesota and Detroit, I would feel confident with that. Because you got one guy you got to shut down.
yeah, but they can do that on our end too.
That is
There's
true.
Just one guy that they got to shut
That
down,
is true,
unless
too.
Tobias can do like you said, what he did in
can
Game
show up,
7.
or Duran can show up.
Yep.
One of the two.
Pistons just took the lead, by the way. Sorry.
Oh, they're going to win it all.
They're going to win it all. They're going to the final. They're going to, this is the year. Chase Sheridan called this shit out months ago. He said this was the Pistons year. I'm still sticking by that. Not a good play there. But this is where I need Eric to tap in, Jason, because I think it's time to cover what the hell's going on in the NHL playoffs, because I haven't paid one bit of attention.
Let's bring it up.
Jason,
Well,
do you have a graphic for that?
I do not have a graphic, but I do have
What the fuck?
the information. I ran out of time, Eric. I'm sorry. Both conferences are down to their final four moving forward here in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Colorado Avalanche have a 1-0 lead over the Minnesota Wild. The Vegas Golden Knights a 1-game lead, 1-0 lead
Not
over
that
the
drunk, you
Anaheim
fuck.
Ducks. On the eastern side, Buffalo and Montreal will start their series, and then Carolina with the 2-0 lead over the Philadelphia Flyers, who did in fact eliminate the Pittsburgh Penguins. Montreal Canadiens, the last Canadian team involved in the playoffs at this point. Eric, right now it seems like I mean, unless something significant happens, the way I'm looking at the Eastern Conference, this belongs to the Carolina Hurricanes.
I don't know about that. The Sabres are playing pretty good too, and they're the number 1 seed. So I think the Eastern Conference is going to come down to the Sabres and Carolina. And that's going to be one hell of a series, 100%. And but the way Carolina's playing, I could see them winning that series. Unfortunately,
They're just playing on a whole different level.
they're playing like they want it more than anyone right now, 100%, and it's showing 100%. And I'd love to see Buffalo make it. I really would. I'd love them to change their fucking logo back to what it was in the 90s because it was way fucking better. But what are you gonna do?
Right.
But yeah, I'd like to see Buffalo make it there, but I think Carolina's gonna. And honestly, I'm upset that the Oilers got eliminated because Connor McDavid just deserves a ring. You lose 2 Stanley Cup Finals to the Panthers, and then you go to the gold medal against the USA and you lose that. Like, that dude just knows heartbreak. That's all that dude knows. And it's like, this was probably one of your best years to make it, and you got eliminated by the Ducks. And it's like, the Western Conference, I don't know. That's kind of a toss-up to me. I don't really see a team sticking out in that. Like, the one that was sticking out to me was Minnesota. The way they were playing, like, they seemed like the underdog, and like they were kind of the Cinderella story. They could still come back and win that series. The Western Conference is up for me. I don't know. I really don't have a favorite for that one.
As much as it pains me, I'm kind of looking at it like the Avalanche. We're going to have an Avalanche.
Yeah.
Vegas Western Conference Finals. Vegas, and like I would love more than anything for Anaheim
Did you not get Cody one?
to the
Okay,
conference
thanks.
finals because the Ducks haven't really had a whole lot to hang their hats on. So it would be cool to see them, take at least one step forward to get to the conference finals. I don't know. Colorado Avalanche, though,
Who
I've
they
watched
playing?
the Minnesota Wild. Now,
That's going to go to Game 7, in my opinion.
I think you're right. But
The-
look, nothing would thrill me more than to see Minnesota Wild eliminate the Colorado Avalanche. I cannot stand the Avalanche for obvious reasons. But what kind of story would it be in the Minneapolis area throughout the entire state of Minnesota if the Wild were to advance to the Western Conference Finals for the NHL, and if the Timberwolves were to advance to their conference finals in the NBA? That would be a very good day, a very good time period for Minnesota fan, and they haven't had a whole hell of a lot to cheer about, if we can be honest.
That would remind me of the 04 Pistons and the 04 Red Wings. Because they both made deep runs back then.
Right.
Well, the Pistons won it, and the Red Wings were, the Red Wings back then. So I can only imagine that town would go crazy. That's what would happen.
Totally.
That's just like if that's just like if right now all the Detroit teams have a chance of getting hot all the time. That's the thing, because we're so young, we're talented, and you got the Lions, you got the Red Wings, you got the Pistons, you got the Tigers. Like it's if 2 or 3 of those teams were to make it far in the playoffs, which the Pistons are, making that case right now, it would be city would burn down. That's all I'm saying. It would be nuts. It would be nuts.
Yeah, I sure would.
You know,
Cody,
so-
have you been paying attention to the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Not as much, just because of what's going on in the NBA right now. But I feel like Colorado has been in it for the last couple of years now. I feel like they're always a top team. With Edmonton, Eric, I got a question for you. Do you think that Connor McDavid asks to be traded? Only because, he's been to, like you said, the 2 Stanley Cups, lost both of those, first round exit. Like, is it time for him to go somewhere else? And
That's not a hockey player thing to do. That's an NBA thing to do, and that's kind of like a NFL thing to do. Hockey players they just want to play. They want to play, and and for them to make it to 2 Stanley Cups, like that's incredible. Like, just to make it there is incredible. And but I don't think he's going to ask to get traded. Will he get traded? Maybe, because his contract is coming up and all that. And I for some reason I've been hearing rumors about the Red Wings kind of trying to acquire him, and if they did, that'd be bonkers. But I don't see that happening because I don't know what Eisman's trying to do. Just like how Quentin Hughes wanted to come here, born and raised Michigan native, and he didn't trade for that kid, and he wanted to be here. And look, after he goes to Minnesota, he gets them to the playoffs, and they're playing hot. Well, what could he have done for the Red Wings if you paired him with Sider? And it's like, well, what are you doing? I don't know. It's Davis. But reality, where would he try to go? Where would he want to go?
that's true.
Where would he want to go? He made it twice and all that, and then this year he got eliminated, so he probably lost some pieces in Edmonton. It's just, where would you want to go to win a cup? But, hockey players are not like that. They don't want to build a super team.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever heard, and Jason probably can acquire this because he's paid attention to hockey quite a bit in his lifetime. There's never really been a super team of hockey. It's just, you get a couple superstars and you build around them, and then there's your team. Besides, I could say what I know as the Red Wings, because, back in the 90s, you had so many big names.
The 2002 and 2008 Red Wings teams were low-key all-star teams.
Yeah, 100%.
When we started getting Brett Hall and like all these marquee players, like franchises were rattled because their star players were starting to come to Detroit.
Yeah.
And those two teams, they were the who's who. And like, it was the Detroit Red Wings. We were so close to a full-blown dynasty, and it didn't materialize that way. There was a big stretch there where the Red Wings, I mean, aside from the 25 years of making the playoffs, I'm talking about them being prominent in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
And we were so goddamn close to establishing the next dynasty in the NHL. Detroit teams have never been part of a dynasty. We hear that word associated with teams like the Islanders and the Canadiens and the Bruins, teams that have won 4-5 cups in a row. Detroit had an opportunity to match that energy, maybe not on a consistent or a consecutive basis, but at least making consecutive appearances in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Well, that's when the whole Fedorov stuff started to happen. If he would have stayed, that probably would have. Who knows how many cups we would have appeared in?
Right.
If not one, because that's back when you had the Russian 5 and all that, and me and you could go on and on about the 90s Red Wings and the early 2000s and all that for hours. 100%. Because I still see videos and clips on social media of how good Daxut was. Like he was just like on a different level of everyone else, and he was a 6th-round pick.
Right.
Like a 6th-round pick in that, and it's just like, and then that's just kind of like Tom Brady, a 6th-round pick. He was just that good, and even Brett Hall said that kid's special, and it showed. 100% it showed. When that dude was on the ice, he had control of the other 8 players. Because I'm not counting the goalie, because eight players and all that. He just had, when just like Isaiah said, if you have control of the ball, you control 9 other players on the court. You have the puck, you control everyone else on the ice.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to talk about in terms of the NHL playoffs?
I'm upset the Mammoth got eliminated by the Golden Knights. I am upset about that.
I am too.
I want the Mammoth to make a deep run for being a new franchise and all that. Love that they're there. I really do. I love that they're there. And I've also heard, going back to NBA, I heard Minnesota might be joining the Eastern Conference because I think they're thinking about
they're supposed to be adding, I think, 1 or 2 teams. I believe.
Yeah, I heard the NBA is thinking about adding 1 or 2 teams. So Minnesota's supposed to go to the Eastern Conference, which makes more sense because you're more Eastern than Western.
Sure.
Well, it depends on where you're standing and what room you're in.
And this is why I don't listen to you ever.
Well, I mean, depending on which direction you're standing and what part of Minnesota you're in. Like, if you're in Western Minnesota, you'd feel like you're in the Western Conference.
No, you're not, motherfucker.
Why are you
Shut
talking
up.
shit?
Because Minnesota's not even close to the western side of the country.
Pistons are up by 9. As for hockey, I stopped watching as soon as the Red Wings were out.
I don't know. You're okay. So let me put it this way.
What?
Let me put it this way. So
Ooh, rebound.
How you started liking March Madness and college basketball?
Yes.
If you were to watch playoff hockey, it's a whole different world.
Well, I've watched a lot of playoff hockey in my life. I just don't have time right now because I have to pay attention to the NBA. And I have to pay attention to
you
golf.
got time. You're just lazy.
And I have to pay attention to all this shit. And I don't have the damn channels to watch it because I don't have cable.
Yeah,
and it's hard to watch all this shit.
That honestly very frustrating.
Thank God for Peacock. Thank God for Prime Video.
You just like Peacock because it has your favorite word in it, cock, faggot.
Ooh, you just got it canceled, motherfucker. Look at that.
Sorry,
We got canceled in 2 minutes.
I apologize.
You son of a bitch.
I couldn't resist.
Now we're on a list.
I couldn't resist.
We just got demonetized from not making any money when we weren't making any money. So did we really get demonetized? I don't think
Edit
so.
out that, Jason.
I just flagged it in the timeline. I'll go.
Good time. I'm sorry. He brought out my inner Eric, and I'm sorry.
There's I'm not even gonna get into it. You gotta watch your tongue, motherfucker.
Hey, at least I didn't say other words.
Oh, whatever. No, hockey's done. Pistons are up by 14 now. Pistons are rolling. Just got a rebound. They're marching back down the
stretch. We're not gonna get a lot.
I'm sorry. I'm excited right now. The Pistons are on a run, but so we are. Are we wrapping up with the NHL?
I have one question for Jason though.
What's that?
Who do you think will be
Just
the
for
Western
men.
Conference Finals, and who do you think will be the Eastern Conference Finals? And Cody, you can touch on this too. Tim doesn't pay attention, so fuck that guy.
Who do I think it's going to be? I think it's going to be Colorado and Anaheim in the West. In the East, Carolina, obviously. Buffalo and Montreal could really go either way. I'm going to go Montreal here, Eric. I think Montreal. I think Montreal kind of wants it just a little bit more.
And they're playing the Sabres, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
So Montreal, Carolina for the East, Colorado, and Anaheim in the West.
Okay. Cody, who would you say?
Yeah, just looking at it, I think the Golden Knights are going to come out of that one.
Okay.
And then probably the Hurricanes out of the East.
Okay. Well, I need Western Conference game and then Eastern Conference games, not the finals. Though. I appreciate it though.
Okay.
I appreciate it though.
So we'll go the Knights and Avalanche. I can see both of that happening, and then the Canadians and the Hurricanes.
Okay.
All I got to add, you guys named a Canadian team right there. Not going to happen. They don't have a Pope.
Oh, here we fucking go. Okay, so I agree with Cody's Western Conference pick. I think the Golden Knights are going to come out of that one, and I think it's going to be the Avalanche. And then Eastern, I think it's going to be the Sabres versus the Hurricane. I think that's going to be a dog fight for the final. I really do. Because I believe that's the number 1 and number 2 seed, if I'm correct.
I believe you're accurate.
Yeah, I think that's just going to be a dogfight in the East, and then I think it's going to be Golden Knights and the Avalanche, and I think that's going to be a dogfight too, honestly.
Yeah,
unless Minnesota gets hot. Unless Minnesota gets hot out of nowhere, I don't see them beating the Avalanche. Unfortunately, I don't want to say that because we all know how we feel about the Avalanche in Detroit.
Public enemies number 1 in terms
Pretty much,
of hockey. Yeah. Yep.
No, I'm 100% you guys because I'm from that era when I watched a lot of hockey. Fuck the Avalanche.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? And I mean, honestly, let's say fuck the Red Wings right now because they piss me off, and Eiserman needs to fucking get off his ass and start doing something.
No, I don't say about fuck the Red Wings. You don't do that.
No, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Because I said the Pistons were done after game 6, and look what happened.
Well, that's because you don't watch basketball.
Shut up, Tim.
Speaking of NHL, I just got a notification that the Maple Leafs got the number 1 overall pick.
Wow. Okay, so they got the lottery. They got the lottery.
They're gonna just waste it because they don't have a Pope.
Not really. They drafted Austin Matthews. That's from the U.S. of A., and he's played pretty great there. That's all I'm saying.
The U.S. of A.
Jason, get us to our next topic because he's pissing me
All
off.
right.
I'm trying to right now. I can't tell. But the Pistons
You're
are
gonna make
rolling.
me say things bad.
The
You're
Pistons
gonna
are
make
up
me
by
say bad
16.
things. You're gonna make
16
me
points.
say bad things.
No, don't say bad things.
Exactly,
Now we got
so
to
shut
edit
up.
this show, and it's live. So how do you edit? So it's only going to be edited in the RSS feed. So we're going to be canceled on YouTube and Facebook right now. I'm surprised Facebook hasn't cut our feed right now because
Exactly.
YouTube.
Shut up.
YouTube hasn't. Well, I mean, we're still live on YouTube. Thank God.
Oh,
But
shut up.
Jason. Are we rolling into a little bit of NFL action?
Yeah, we need to
talk a
talk
little
about
bit about
NFL.
what's going on. You know what I mean? I just saw that today that DJ Reader got signed to the Giants.
Dude, they're going to be a hell of a team.
Oh, my goodness.
Honestly, I think that's going to be the team to worry about in the NFC. Because, like, dude, they've drafted good. Their off season's been good. They got a new coach. That's going to be the team to worry about, honestly. Because they're not going to have that hard of a schedule. And if Jackson Dart can come back and what's his name?
Scattaboo.
Scattaboo. The psychopath of the Giants comes back. Yeah, I see them being a very tough team to beat, and especially if Neighbors can pull his head out of his ass and be, that number 1 receiver. Like they're dangerous. They are going to be a very dangerous team, honestly.
No, I'm
Where
right
the fuck did Jason go?
Jason's not here. Cody, how do you feel about what's going on in the NFL right now? And, I was on your show last night, and we didn't get to talk any NFL. So and now Eric's leaving. What the fuck?
Wow,
Half the show has left. Son of a bitch. Eric's peeing. Jason's peeing. Everybody's peeing. Cody, you got to pee?
No.
I did it during NHL because I don't follow NHL. But Cody, let me feel like, or not.
Wow.
What the fuck?
That's
This
Tim.
show
That's
just-
Tim from yesterday.
I
That's
started
Tim from
doing some
yesterday.
fucking. No, I've been drinking. I'd blame it on the beer and maybe the shot of Fireball that I took. But Cody, NFL. I saw that DJ Reader got signed today. Other than that, he got signed to the Giants. How do you feel about the Giants currently?
Yeah, we talked before we got on the air, but they're going to be a scary team. I mean, they got a good coach in Harbaugh. A young quarterback, Jackson Dart. He can play. So they're going to be a scary team, and they're definitely going to make playoffs. Who knows? They might even make the Super Bowl, but they're adding all the pieces that they need to, and Detroit has been quiet, so we need to kind of do what the Giants have been doing, and that's getting ready for this upcoming season.
So I don't know if I'd jump on the Super Bowl train yet for them. You know what I mean? But when I did go over, and I was going over, and I've been on a couple shows talking about this, it's what did Scott just say? He said it's going to suck when the NFL moves the Lions and Giants game to Germany. Yes, that's going to suck. And I think the Lions have a home game this year, so we actually got robbed of a home game.
We did.
So that's a shitty move by the NFL for the team itself, because they get one less actual home game. But yeah, I think the Giants, and I called this on a couple different shows, I think they had one of the best drafts, and some people were talking about Cleveland had a really good one too, but I think the Giants are definitely the team to watch out for this year. And I think they're going to make some moves. They were, quietly dangerous last year. And that was with dealing with some injuries and shit like that. I think they had one hell of a draft.
Oh, yeah.
Between them and Dallas, unfortunately, I hate to say it because it's Dallas and we all hate Dallas. The Dallas also had a phenomenal draft. And Jerry Jones played some Jerry Jones games in that draft that were quite funny. If you look back on that, they kind of shafted Pittsburgh a little bit there. But the Giants with DJ Reader, he did pretty decent for the Lions. I think he ended up with 54 tackles, somewhere around there. You know what I mean? So adding that to that line, that is a team to watch out for this year. But going back to our Lions real quick, because we're having a lot of things, and I got to do a little cheap plug. We at the Sports Real Podcast are giving away a Kirby Joseph autographed, authenticated mini helmet, I should say. And all you got to do is go to our TikTok page. It's at Sports Real PFC, or just search the Sports Real Podcast. It will be the post in the top left corner. You go there, you like that post, share it, and follow us, and you will be in the running to win that. We just got to hit 1,500 followers, and we will be giving that helmet away live here on TikTok. And you got to live in the U.S. because I'm a cheap bastard and had to buy that thing, and I got to pay for shipping, so I can't ship it to you in Germany. I apologize. I only bring up Germany because Scott's talking about Germany in the chat right now. What does Scott say? Tell me about if they charge us the same price through though for the season. Yeah, that's crazy. I know Scott's a season ticket holder, and he got robbed of a game here. So that is a shitty thing that they charge for the same price, but that's Detroit sports currently. We were talking about this, a couple weeks ago about how expensive the Tigers tickets are now. And, when Jason called out Sacramento, and we got to call them out one more time because that thing is still going. I'm still getting Sacramento people hate Jason. They despise Jason. They hate everything about it. That's why he's wearing a hat right now, because they were making fun of him in the chat. They were saying he's got no hair.
Really?
No, they weren't making fun of him.
Damn it. That'd been great.
But yeah, they despise.
You hairless bastard.
At least I make it look good.
No, you don't.
Wow. Oh, the fuck I don't.
No, you don't.
I'm fucking dead ass sexy. Make no mistake.
Okay, I don't know what you're looking at. Jesus Christ.
God, this conversation is just like a weird turn. But yeah, so DJ Reader to the Giants. And we talked about Dallas. They had a really good draft. I honestly think the Lions also had a really good draft. But we're talking about the NFC North.
So we're talking about the NFC North, though.
Yeah, let's get into that.
I think that's going to be one of the toughest divisions again, honestly. You got the Bears that are tough. You got the Packers. You got the Lions. Minnesota's a toss-up, but you can never, for some reason, you can never count them out. You can't. They're kind of like the Packers. You can't count them out. They always play us tough, no matter what. And they always play good. And maybe them losing Harrison Smith and a couple other players might bring them down again, but still, they got a good receiver. And yeah, I get you're saying Kyle Murray's can't see over the line. If he can, look at Kirk Cousins. going to Atlanta, restoring his career a little bit, and then came back and all that. But what if Kyler Murray gets a second chance in Minnesota and makes it happen? You have a mobile quarterback now, Justin Jefferson. They might be able to make some things work. You still have a decent run game with Aaron Jones. Like you don't know what could really happen in Minnesota. So like the NFC North is, I think, the toughest division in the NFC, but also I think the toss up in the NFC East is going to be the Cowboys. I think they're going to win that division. I really do. With how good they have drafted and George Pickens signing that franchise tag, I really think they could win the NFC East.
All right, I have to cut in. I'm going to lay out my response to that, and then I want Cody's response.
Right, Cody, go ahead. No one cares. No,
hold on. I've always said Minnesota is such a QB-friendly program that you could throw anybody into that position, and they're going to do good.
You're not wrong.
They've always done really well in that position. So maybe I'm overlooking Minnesota a little bit, but I look at it this way, and I think Green Bay only got better in this draft, and I think Chicago only got better in this draft.
I think we got better in our draft.
We also got better in the draft, too. I'm not marking that. I'm going down the line right now.
Okay.
When it comes to Minnesota, I don't know if Kyler Murray was a big enough pickup for a quarterback to make up that difference for how much better Detroit got, Green Bay got, and Chicago got.
Okay.
And I think you're 100% right. I do think Dallas wins that division this year.
Mm-hmm. I really do.
And because I think the Eagles' time is about done, to be honest. You know what I mean? They've had a good run. Well, Are they going to be competitive? Yes.
Yeah, and you did take that reach with that freak of an athlete from a different country that's
never played football.
But he's a freak. What is he, 6'6", I think, 300 pounds, and he's just straight muscle?
He's like Jason's size. Except he's got hair.
He does have hair.
Yeah.
So that probably makes him way better. But
by the way, Jason is like 6'7",
but also
350 pounds, pure muscle. He's an Adonis, an absolute Adonis. I mean, look at him on that screen. Absolutely phenomenal human being.
We should
sitting
have
right
that
there.
Fireball shot.
Jason Clouse is an absolute phenomenal specimen. Okay, he just keep going. He just shut himself off. I love
Yeah, fuck you.
This dumbass tries to shut off my mic and shuts off his own. Cody, everything we just talked about. Pistons are up by 16 right now. Fill us in. How do you feel about the NFC North? Hold on. I gotta. Here we go. Now.
All right. So I think there was a question in all of that just happened there, but no, I think everybody in the NFC North did get better. I don't know. Do you guys really think that Kyler Murray is going to start over JJ?
100%.
100%. Like I think JJ. I never liked him in Michigan. And he was okay for Michigan. I'm glad that they won the national title with him, but I wasn't the biggest fan of him in Michigan. And you got to look at that, that Jim Harbaugh offense. It was mostly running. Like they were just power run. And did he make some good passes in college? Yes. Why? Because they had such a good run game that it opened up for the play action so he could make those passes. Now, could that repeat in Minnesota? Sure. Like Eric said, he brought up Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is one hell of a running back. They can do that, but they need to play that way. And they haven't, unfortunately. They've always been a passing team. They need to transition more into a running team. But, Cody, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I think Chicago is going to be number one in that division again. And honestly, I think Detroit's going to be 3. So, because I think Minnesota's the only team we don't have to worry about, but it's going to be a dogfight between Detroit, Chicago, and Green Bay.
So, let me ask you this.
Yeah, I think different because Detroit's going to have an easier schedule. They're not going to have that hard of a schedule this year. Yeah, I wanted to cut you off to piss you off.
No. You just brought up the exact point I was going to bring up. You got to look at strength of schedule too. Detroit's going to have
Chicago's going to have a very tough schedule.
Yes.
Detroit's going to have like a medium schedule, and if you get
Detroit's going to have a super. They have one of the easiest schedules in the league.
That's why I was like,
they didn't make the playoffs last year. So out of the North, Green Bay and Chicago both made playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Detroit's going to have an easier schedule than both of them. So you just brought up the exact point that I was going to bring up. So
and you also about this. I think Detroit's going to be if not win the division, they're going to be second at least. I really do, because they're going to have an easier schedule and all that. And then I just remembered that Dallas also signed Rajay Gray that the Packers had. So I'm like, they got both their D tackles from Green Bay because they traded for Parsons and they got Clark, and now you have Gray there, and he was phenomenal at Michigan. He was phenomenal at Green Bay. So like, he's just going to add more there. I think Dallas might be the sleeper with the New York Giants, but I really think the Lions have a very good chance of winning the division because they're going to have an easier schedule, and we've seen how that worked out in 2023.
That is a good point right there. Like, I think you have to start looking at strength of schedule. And
but also, does that affect in the playoffs? So, because that we can see what happened. We made it all the way to the NFC Championship, and we got beat by San Francisco when we should not have.
Yeah.
We were dominating them. We should have just ran it down their throat and never stopped. And for some reason, we didn't, because Ben Johnson's retarded. But yeah, that's
and a rookie quarterback the next year.
That is true.
Yes. Yeah. The playoffs hasn't been too hot for the thing. Programming note, Scott just brought up Red Sox are leading the Tigers 8-2 currently.
Scott, we don't want to hear bad news. Stop being negative.
Yeah. Give us some good news, Scott. Like, just bring out something good, Scott. Like, I just want to hear something good. Like, Mahomes is the GOAT. Mahomes is the greatest of all time. The Kansas City Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl this year. This is the type of shit that I want to hear. I don't want to hear about the Tigers being down right now 8-2. But what we have right now is the Pistons are currently still up in this game. But yes, the Detroit Lions, I don't know if I'd count them out. I think they win this division this year, to be honest. I think the strength of schedule moves them there. Now, Eric brought up a good point. Do the playoffs, does that slow them down? It has in the past. We'll have to wait and see how this offensive line turns out.
That is true.
Right now, it's looking pretty good on paper. No, damn it, Scott. You're ruining it every day. You're just, every time no.
He's 100%
Justin
right.
Fields, and I like Justin Fields.
He's going to take Mahomes' job.
I think Chicago made a mistake by getting rid of Justin Fields. I think they'd be even better off than they are with Caleb Williams. But
he's going to replace Patrick Mahomes. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Fuck you.
Mahomes
Jason,
is done.
Jason.
Washed up.
Jason.
He's a bitch.
Jason.
Yes,
Jason.
sir. Yes, sir.
How do you feel about the NFC North
is
right
washed
now?
and dead.
Oh, damn it, Scott. Damn it, Scott. Damn it.
Okay, so how do you feel about the NFL, Jason?
NFC North.
Yes. Oh, my
You
God.
son of a bitches.
That would be the best thing to ever happen in the world.
Who was on the show with us right after the draft, and they said because of the way the draft picks shaped up, we instantly just took back the NFC North.
I didn't hear about that.
I felt like, damn, that is a bold statement.
What did you say? I'm sorry. I have to get up real quick and grab a baseball bat and beat the shit out of my co-host with it. They know where to find me. I would say my address, but they would know where to find me. Oh, no, where to find. I live at 1387 Oak Street.
Hey, no more whiskey for you. You get off the fucking wall. No more whiskey for you.
And I'm going to beat the shit out of the son of a bitch to the left of me. Just turned my mic off.
Back
Jason, hold on. What did he just say? Because I broke my headphones for a second.
We realized he said after the draft, they said the Lions had pretty much won the North and have came back.
They're going to reclaim the NFC North based on how they drafted. Yes.
So since the draft, hold on, let me look at our schedule to see who's been on the show. Since the draft, we have had we had the guy from Two Guys, One Pod on. So we had Addison on, and then we had
411.
Then we had CB from the 411 podcast on. So one of those two said that. And I think it might have been Addison who said that he thought that they had reclaimed the North, to be honest. And I mean, I'm sure CB said it too, because they do a Lions podcast, and it's all about Lions love in this part of town. Just like us, we love the Detroit Lions, and we're always gonna feel a little thing, unless you're Cody, who said they were gonna finish third. What the hell, Cody?
I really
feel like invited back.
No, you're always invited back, brother.
I really feel like the NFC North is going to come down to Detroit and Chicago, and I really think that where both of these franchises are headed, both on the field and on the sidelines. You have a written storyline there with Ben Johnson, obviously, and I really feel like this is going to really reignite the rivalry between the Lions and the Bears, to make these must-watch, must-see games this season. So I really feel like one of these two teams are claiming the NFC North. That's nothing, disparaging against the Packers or the Vikings.
Fuck the Packers.
I just That's just how I see this unfolding. It's going to be either the Lions or the Bears in the NFC North.
Yeah, no, I can get behind that, but I want to reiterate now. Isaac, do you hear that? Jason said, "Fuck the Packers."
No more whiskey for you. I'm Eric, you fucking idiot.
No, but I'm blaming it on Jason. I know who said it. Come on. I'm trying to get you out of trouble right now with our friends over at the Fun Football Podcast.
We love Isaac. Isaac's great. We'll have we need to get that NFC North podcast.
Oh, we're working on it. Look forward to that in the
so let's get your
the preseason. We're looking forward to an NFC North. We're working on a Minnesota person. Isaac has a hookup on that, but we're going to do a full.
I heard she's hot too.
Jason, it's that time, brother.
Yeah,
it's that time.
This
It's going to be more than 2 minutes tonight because there's a lot.
It's that time of the show. It'll be sweet and short. Here's Tim Sheridan with the 2 score.
Jason, I'm waiting on you
You're waiting on me for what?
to roll. To roll in Tim's 2 minutes, damn it.
Did you not see it?
It didn't roll.
It's on my screen.
It's not rolling.
That's why we couldn't see anything.
It's playing right now on Facebook.
I don't. It's not here.
All right. For those of you who already heard this, I apologize. Let's try this again.
I need to hear. I need to get in the mood.
It's that time of the show. It'll be sweet and short. Here's Tim Sheridan with the 2 score.
It's been going on the whole show.
Damn
and you
it!
just
I
picked up
have
on it.
feelings. All right, I'm gonna pretend that it played because it didn't come on our end. I'm waiting to see if it pulls up on the live so I can do a little dance.
It already did.
I don't know what's going on. Riverside is just messing us over right now. But anyways, Jason, you there still? I feel like I lost you.
No, I'm here, man.
This is Tim's It's of Golf Talk.
No more whiskey for this guy. He can't
Brought
fucking
to
handle
you
it.
by
His age is showing.
the PFC Entertainment Network on the Sports Reel podcast. But anyways, this past week we had the Cadillacs Championship, which, Jason, you know who won this?
Cam the Hammer?
Cam the Hammer Young, the biggest dick in the West. He won this thing at 1900. Not only did he win it, he dominated this motherfucker. I say the West. Like, he's not even from the West. I think he's from New York, lives in Florida. So I should say the East. So he's got the largest dick in the East. But anyway, Scotty Scheffler got his, he placed second. I think this is his third tournament placing runner-up, and he lost this thing by, it was 6 strokes. So Cam the Hammer Young ran away with this thing. In third place, we had Ben Griffin. We had a 3-way tie for fourth with Straka, Scott, and Kim. And then we had a 2-way tie for seventh with Smalley and Noren. And then a 5-way tie for ninth with Noren, McCarty, Kitayama, Fowler. So Ricky, couple top 10 finishes here, and then Taylor, and then we got Alex Fitzpatrick placed 9th place in this thing, which I talked about him last week because with that win last week, his brother helped earn him a tour card, and he just came in here and got a top 10 finish the very first week, in the next tournament. So good for Alex Fitzpatrick. On top of that, next week we're looking at the Truist Championship, which will be the return of Rory after the Masters win. So this can be the first tournament that he plays in after the Masters. So we'll have to see how.
Is that in Atlanta?
I'd have to double check and look. I think it is.
I didn't know if you knew off the top of your head. You don't have to look it up. I was just curious.
Yeah, no. Like, I don't think it is. But the biggest thing I wanted to get in a conversation with, because there's a lot of news in golf this week, which I want you guys' opinions on this, even though you guys don't watch golf. But Jason, this is something that, probably close to you, because I know you follow a lot of WWE and stuff like that. But the Saudis have pulled their funding for Live Golf at the end of the 2026 season, and Live Golf is kind of, they're in the process right now of searching for new investors to try to continue this league. And if they cannot find this, they're going to go defunct. And what does that do for the players that the PGA Tour offered to come back this year? And we had talked about this previously on the show, and Brooks Koepka was a big part of this. A lot of these players did not take advantage of that. And now all of a sudden, Saudi has pulled their money. Where does this leave? What the fuck? I can't talk.
More fucking
Where does
for you.
this
No more
And that's
whiskey
Tim's
for
2
you.
minutes of golf.
where does this leave Live Golf and all the players that did not take advantage of the PGA Tours? They put their hand out and said, "Hey, you guys can come back." Where does this lead now, Jason? I really want to know your thing, because being a WWE fan, we know Saudis played a lot in a lot of the previous PLEs and stuff like that with funding and everything else. So with them pulling the money from Live, what is your opinion on this, and what happens to these players who did not return to the PGA and who are going to be stuck just out in limbo?
I actually heard rumblings of this last week, and I wanted to bring it up on the show last week, but there wasn't a whole lot of information around this. What my takeaway is, number one, if the Saudis are pulling their backing, that's not a good sign, because the Saudis will throw money at just about anything and everything. If they feel like it's going to garner some sort of attention, ratings, revenue of some regard, they're going to throw money at it, even if they're just making a minimal profit. For them to come out and say, we're pulling the funding for Live Golf, is like, damn, that's from my perspective, that's huge, and it is because of that. They're not going to find another investor on that level. I think Live Golf is done at when the final shoe actually drops. And as far as the players on there that didn't take advantage of the PGA's invitation to return, kind of seeing how PGA runs things and how they present themselves, I'm afraid the majority of those players are completely fucked.
Fucked.
Where do you go from there? If you're not playing for the PGA and you want to be a professional golfer, that's what I appreciated about Live Golf. Even though I don't follow it nearly as close as you do, but I appreciated the fact that there was another avenue for these athletes to make a living at this. Kind of like, Tim, in the wrestling business. For the longest time, it was set up in the territory. Then it came down to WWF and WCW. Then it was WWE running the shot for a long time before AEW. Having competition like that is best for the industry, best for the sport. I would be stunned if there was another investment that comes around and saves Live Golf, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to grab investors, to be honest, that are going to pay, because if you look at the numbers, I think the Saudis have spent about $3.8 billion in the last 2 years just funding Live Golf, and it hasn't had any amount of return close to that. But as for the players, go ahead, Eric.
But I feel like the Saudis fucking cocksucker are going into the UFC. I feel like they're putting more into that because they see what can become, and like Dana White with the whole outside at the White House and all that. I think they're gonna put their money towards that. I think that's why they're pulling out of golf, because golf's boring.
Golf is.
Yeah, fuck you. You got me, bitch.
You son of a bitch. Golf is not boring, but no,
It's not.
I
It's
can
a
get
great
that
sport.
point. The Saudis are actually dumping a bunch of money in a bunch of different American
Yeah.
sports right now, trying to get into that. Whether you look at Jake Paul's promotion, which the Saudis have been
is true.
funding that, or the UFC.
I just think they're going more towards the fighting realm to try to boost that up, honestly.
Yeah. And that could make sense. But as we're talking about the players, Jason, there's not many options left for a lot of these guys. Now, does the PGA Tour turn their back on like a Bryson DeChambeau, a John Rahm, a Dustin Johnson? I would be hard pressed to say that they do, to be honest. I think they let those guys back with open arms. And if they don't, to be honest, I put a post up about this earlier this week, and people were talking about it, and some people were like, yawn, boring, all this other shit. And it's like the PGA Tour doesn't need Bryson. And no, the PGA Tour doesn't need Bryson in a sense, but at the same time they do, because Bryson is kind of the head figure when it comes to, YouTube golf right now. And we got to give a lot of credit to YouTube golf, because it's bringing a lot of the younger generation into the golf world. And right now YouTube golf is bringing golf back. So for the PGA Tour to ignore the fact that the YouTube golf generation is helping them out is kind of shitty, and Bryson's at the head of that. So I could honestly see, if they don't invite Bryson back, Bryson could jump on this train with like the Grant Horvat and the Wesley brothers and stuff like that, and start his own YouTube golf league, which they're actually starting already. And if they brought Bryson on, it would probably explode it. So do we see Bryson DeChambeau possibly making a run at starting his own league and making it just all YouTube orientated to combat the PGA, which I think would have actually a better chance than what Liv did? Because honestly, YouTube golf might actually be bigger, than what the PGA is right now. I mean, I just throw out that you got Bryson, you got Grant Horvat, you got Good, you got Rick Shields, you got, so many different names. Bob Does Sports. I mean, these guys have built golf up so big, which has brought eyes to the PGA, brought eyes to Live Golf, and the PGA just kind of shits on them. Cody, do you have any opinions on all this?
So I haven't really been paying too much toward golf, but I kind of agree with what you're saying about YouTube. I feel like that platform helps a lot of people out, and I have seen Bryson DeChambeau on YouTube recently, so I can see that being a thing of him starting his own, and it will get the younger people. And honestly, like myself, like I've been tuning more into golf from you guys and stuff like that, so being able to just watch it on YouTube, I think that will help a lot of the younger generation and like the people that don't watch golf. I think that'll help.
Hold on, I gotta get me flipping off Eric right here. But yes, YouTube golf, no matter what. I mean, a lot of people have a lot more time. And Zach, I mean, you make 100%. Like, I wouldn't think that they would be petty, but I have a feeling the PGA is going to be petty, and I think they're making a mistake with that, because they need to bring more of that YouTube element into it. And they've kind of shit out in the past. Like, they've offered for Grant Horvat to come on and play in some things, but wouldn't allow him to film any of it. And it was a shitty move, because it only brings more eyes from that younger generation to their product. And let's be honest, as prestigious as the PGA Tour is, without a younger generation, you're not shit, because that's your next generation coming into the thing. What the fuck are you looking at?
Yeah, boo-boo on your thumb?
Yes, I have a yes,
I got a boo-boo, and I don't have a Band-Aid.
Oh, fuck off.
You little baby.
Fuck off. You're fucking up my whole flow right now. But yeah. Yeah, I honestly think
Big
that
boy needs a Band-Aid.
Shut the fuck up. The PGA Tour needs to wake the fuck up. They need to bring Bryson back. They need to get more of a YouTube element to it. And they've allowed some of their players to go out and do some YouTube stuff. So they're starting to feel it out a little bit, but they're going to be smart to do it, because that is the future of golf. We got all these younger kids. I mean, I go to a golf course. We play a lot of golf. I've talked about this a bunch of times. Like, my kid's out on a golf course 4 days a week. I'm usually out there a couple days a week on top of being out there with him when he's doing it. Swing lessons. You know how many fucking good hats are out on that course from these younger generations?
No idea.
These guys have built up, the future of golf right now. And the PGA Tour needs to recognize that. And they cannot let Bryson walk. I hate to say it, everybody says that the PGA Tour don't need Bryson. The PGA Tour needs Bryson more than Bryson needs the PGA Tour. And I could understand maybe a Dustin Johnson because he's getting a little bit older. You know what I mean? You don't do that. But Bryson is the key for the future in the PGA Tour. Like, you have to bring that element in. Jason, any final thoughts on the PGA Tour before I wrap up this Tim's 17 minutes ago?
I was going to say 20 minutes, honestly, because it was more of an even number, but...
No, sir. I'm good.
No, sir. All right. So, do you have any programming notes before I hit mine, Jason?
I do have to ask Jason something, though.
What the fuck?
You're not important. Shut up. The 1 through 16 NFL or NHL lottery picks happen, and Red Wings are not 1 through 16. Do you think they got hosed?
No.
1 through 16.
No, I don't think they got hosed.
Okay.
No.
God hose.
This is going to shape up the way it's supposed to. So I don't know. I'm not stressed about it.
Sorry. Jason, any programming notes? Do you happen to have anything coming up on Thursday?
Not confirmed. Stay tuned to our social media on the next day or two. Tomorrow we'll know one way or the other. There could be a special bonus edition of this show we call Ball Game. I'm trying to get the T's crossed, the I's dotted on my end. Certainly not on Vinny's. He's ready to roar. But there is another programming note, because this Friday I will be back on the airwaves of ONTV for the latest edition of Fatal 4-Way. Big Backlash pay-per-view this weekend. We're going to be breaking that down. We're also going to talk about all of the releases that happened last week in WWE, and some pretty big names expected to make the jump to AEW. We're going to be talking about that, all that and more this Friday beginning at 6 p.m. Just look for Orion ONTV on Facebook and YouTube. It is the Fatal 4-Way, part of the PFC Entertainment Network.
Okay, so a couple programming notes real quick. I do want to plug our Kirby Joseph autographed mini helmet giveaway. Shut the fuck up. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, this is serious business now. You go to our TikTok page, top left corner there. You'll see the post. Go there, like that, share it, follow us, and you'll get in on that giveaway. We will be giving away that live on the podcast as soon as we hit 1,500 followers. On top of that, next week, May 12th, 6:45 p.m., we got Boys with the Heat joining us. So stay tuned for this one. This one could get a little wild. They get a little wild like we do. So this should be a lot of F-bombs, and hopefully Eric just doesn't drop anything that has to be cut out of this show coming up. But it's going to be a fun one. So look forward to that once again. May 12th, 6:45 p.m. We got Boys with the Heat. We'll be live on YouTube and Facebook at the PFC Entertainment Network. Once again, I would like to thank Matt from Lips, Puck, and Chirps. He plugged his stuff. And Cody from Catching Up with Cody. Cody, would you like to plug all your channels real quick?
Yeah. First off, thank you guys for having me in studio again. You can find me on all social media platforms at Catching Up with Cody. Every Monday night at 9 p.m., I do an NBA talk. You'll probably see Tim there again pretty soon. I may have to rethink after tonight, but we'll see.
What are you talking about?
Good idea. Pow!
No, he'll be back. He'll be back. But thank you guys again for having me. And yeah, check out Catching Up with Cody.
All right, well, we appreciate you once again for coming on, and I look forward to coming on your show again. Hopefully next time I won't be so damn tired. Because,
well, don't be a bitch.
Like, life has been getting things, but it's going to be starting to slow down here pretty soon. But Jason, I'm glad that you joined us here tonight, even though you do every week.
The fuck?
So
no more
we couldn't do this without you.
The
Who the fuck are you talking to?
The whiskey's
we
cut out
couldn't
for
do
this
this
guy.
show without you. You are the producer extraordinaire, and we appreciate everything you do for us. But yes, follow us everywhere, please. Thank you.
Hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe button on YouTube,
Yes.
hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time we go live on our regularly scheduled programming and any bonus episodes that we do. And be sure to check out the online store. Jesus Christ.
Hell yeah.
He had
The
nothing
online
to do
store,
with this show.
pfcsportsreel.printify.me for the one-stop shop for all things Sports Real podcast. With that, go out this week. Be awesome to yourselves and to each other. We'll see you next week right here on the Sports Real podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network.
Pow! Let's go Pistons! Pistons! Let's go Tigers! Jeez! Let's go Royals!